the saying goes, it's not where you start, but where you finish that counts. It's been a mantra to live by for Lucas Daniel Boyce, whose life has seesawed from the lowest of lows, winding up as a preemie in foster care, to the highest of highs, soaring across America in Air Force One. His journey from a challenging start in foster care to achieving his dreams of serving in the White House and later becoming an executive with the NBA is an awe-inspiring testament to the power of resilience, determination, and his faith. But his story begins in an unconventional way. Born prematurely to a courageous teenager battling substance abuse, Lucas was saddled with developmental delays and learning and attention issues because of his in utero exposure.
My biological mom had everything going for her. She'd gotten caught up with the wrong crowd, started getting into drugs, started getting into substance abuse, started drinking alcohol, and in order to support her habit, she lived on the streets, and so she did whatever she could. Found that she was pregnant, but by then the alcohol and the drugs had already impacted me in my development, and so I came out undercooked, a little premature. By about 6 weeks, weighing about 4 pounds, 2 ounces, was in the NICU for about 10 days, and the reason for that was because of what she had done in the womb. At 10 days old, I was sent to the foster care home of my white mom, and her name is Lucas Boyce. And over the course of about 15 years, she had over 40 foster care children. And we came to her with disabilities, known and unknown. And then there was me, who struggled with FASD, which stands for fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, which is a disorder that takes place when mommies drink in the womb, and that there's a real impact on the life of that child in there when they do those types of things.
Some of the effects of FASD are often that the person is unusually small, premature, many are mentally handicapped, some can experience seizures, often have a low IQ, are hyperactive, have growth deficiencies, memory problems, and learning disorders.
Those learning disorders caught up with me when I tried to go to school, and so I flunked kindergarten, and that was Mom's first opportunity to help reframe what setbacks look like for a future comeback. And she took me aside and she shared with me her 2 keys of success after I had this horrible failure. And all my friends were going to first grade and I was standing still, right? And she said 2 things. She says, Lucas, I can't promise you success, but I can promise you that if you do these 2 things, the likelihood for your success will be that much greater. And she said that you can do anything you put your mind to, and I had needed to remember who I am and who I represent.
Despite struggling academically, Lucas found unwavering support from his adoptive mother, who instilled in him the principles of perseverance and self-belief.
So I had to study harder than everybody else, right? I had to work longer than everybody else, and things other people got just real quickly took me a long time to get. ADHD, hyperactive, memory problems, those are all impacting in school, right? But God was good, and I was able to have mentors, family, mom and dad, stepdad, teachers that wouldn't give up on me. We wouldn't just shuffle me along through the system to get me out of school, but they believed in me and told me to believe in myself and to believe in God, and that with a God, all things are possible. So I was able to, thankfully, with all the help that I've just described, go from being a flunked kindergarten to being valedictorian in my high school class.
These guiding principles propelled Lucas to defy expectations.
19 years old, valedictorian, giving the valedictorian speech. Mom pulls me aside after the graduation, and when you're wanting to turn up and party and go hang out with your friends, and she pulls me aside for a fireside chat. She said, okay, what's next? What do you want to accomplish, and how are you going to get there? And a few things were popping in the 90s that when I was growing up as a teenager. Politics, Bill Clinton was the president. In sports, the Chicago Bulls reigned the earth. And so those are a few of the things that mattered to me. And so God, religion, and basketball, and politics, all wonderful, strange things, were things that I just kind of gravitated towards. So my mom asked me this. I told her I wanted to be a missionary and share my faith. And I told her I wanted to fly on Air Force One. Saw this movie in '97, Air Force One, the movie, when it came out. Told her I wanted to work at the White House. But I also told my mom that I wanted to work for the Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan is a person that overcame enormous obstacles to be the greatest player in his and the current generation. And I wanted to be like Mike. I was cut from my team, like he was cut from his high school team. I was cut from my mom's team, my birth mom's team. Those are my dreams. This is what I told my mom. And over the course of 10 years, from age 19 to age 29, by the grace of God, a lot of hard work. I was able to work at the White House as an intern and then later as a staffer, work on a presidential campaign, fly in Air Force One, and work for an NBA team for about 8 years, all before the age of 29, 30 years of age.
Lucas went on to graduate college, serve in the White House as the president's liaison to the African American community, and transition to regional public relations, where he finally got to fly on Air Force One.
It was like a kid in a candy store, and I'm pretty reserved. I'm a real kind of chill guy, but I was not. There was no, acting like I had been there before.
From 2008 to 2016, his second dream was achieved when he had the opportunity to work with the Orlando Magic as Director of Business Development, Community Relations, and Government Affairs.
And so my very first year, which was with them, we went to the NBA Finals. That was when Dwight Howard was a member of the team, and Kobe Bryant was with the Lakers. They beat us like a drum, but it was certainly fun to get there, beating LeBron James to get there.
Today, he serves as the assistant to the county administrator for Orange County, Florida government, a fulfilling role in helping people at the local level.
I've had experience with federal government, but working in local government and doing public service and trying to be a servant leader has meant a world of difference to me, because you give away money at that federal level, but at the local level is how you distribute that money and how you get it into the pockets of those that are most in need, and that's what we do every single day.
In 2011, Lucas documented his powerful story in his autobiography, Living Proof, From Foster Care to the White House and NBA, in hopes of reaching people with the same values his adopted mother instilled in him.
I shake my head sometimes that I would write an autobiography at age 30. That seems like a little bit too early to write one of these, but this one was special, and honestly, because of some of the things, the disabilities and things, it's kind of cool to have this written down. Because I have kind of poor memory sometimes on certain things, and so this kind of helps you remember how cool things were, but also it kind of acts like a journal for me as well. But it's entitled Living Proof, From Foster Care to the White House and the NBA, and it just chronicles the arc of my life and my story with God at my side, with what we've been able to accomplish. My favorite quote, and I quote this all the time, it says, "Some men see things as they are and they ask why. Others will dream things that could be and ask why not." And so as I think through what it means to have different abilities, this one really, really, really lands home for me, because there are some people that will see things as they are. They'll see the obstacles, the disability, the different ability, and they'll use those as excuses to shrink from the opportunity of the moment. But then there are those difference makers, those trailblazers, those that will push through towards their purpose, that will see all of those obstacles. They'll see the headwinds, the storms, but they will still dream things that could be and ask why not.
With a world of difference, I'm Cindy Peterson.